You're watching Good Morning Suncoast at 6.
As your kids head out to the bus stop, a look at the forecast and if they'll need an umbrella this morning.
And we'll take a look at a new program set to help kids that may be struggling with some mental health issues at school.
And slow down. That's the message from the Braden Police, as some folks didn't realize that those school zones are back in effect. Good morning, folks. 6 o'clock now on this Tuesday morning. I'm Ray Collins.
And I'm Stephanie Webb. Thanks for waking up with us this morning. What kind of weather are you going to be waking up to? Well, John Scalzi is here to tell you.
Well, I'll tell you what, it's a little less threatening than it was 24 hours ago. Yesterday, the radar was lit up out in Gulf waters, and I'm sure a lot of parents had a little bit of concern as to whether or not the kids would get wet at the bus stops. Well, the concern is a little bit less this morning. We did have one pretty good shower that moved through areas of Venice and Inglewood and produced some pretty good downpours of rain, but now things are pretty quiet across the entire area, and really our rain chance is pretty minimal. I give the rain chance about 30%, and really even my confidence in that 30% is not all that great. Along the coastline first, followed by inland showers a little later in the day. As we progress through the day, the rain chances decrease further, actually. So today, this morning, we talk about a 30% chance of rain, and then less as we head into the afternoon. There's a trough of low pressure located to the north. That's where the lightning is. We're not seeing any lightning across our region currently, as temperatures are generally holding in the mid to upper 70s. Back to you.
Well, breaking overnight, several people have been injured after a car crashed into the barriers outside the Parliament building in London.
London police say none of the victims have life-threatening injuries. The driver was detained by officers at the scene. Police tweeted that the barriers are set in place to help police with the investigation. We'll track this story throughout the morning. 6:01 right now. Time to talk about first alert traffic. Here are the maps. First off, in Manatee County, you'll notice there State Road 70 has an issue in the eastbound lane. Otherwise, all clear in Manatee County. Checking farther south now. A little blip there on the screen at the 41 and 301 area. And then finally to the south of us, we'll find out that there is, in the South County region, actually some slowdowns on 41 in both directions around the Plantation Country Club near River Road. Let's wipe now to a live shot of an ongoing situation. This is on I-275 between 75 and the Sunshine Skyway entrance. Tractor trailer overturned about 3:30 this morning. Seems to have lost its load there on the side of the road. And what else did you see this morning?
Now, basically what we saw was like this tractor trailer is a little bit into the road, but not very much. But it looks like something that is going to take a while to clean up. They've also spilled their load all over the side of the road. There was about 4 FHP troopers that were still on site this morning, but it wasn't busy yet. But as the morning goes on, you're going to get that gawker traffic going on both sides, and one lane has also been just shut down a little bit as they start that cleanup process. But it's going to take a minute, so that could be something to watch for you guys this morning. All right, switching gears a little bit, we're talking about the weather in the Northeast. Relentless rain there has been causing flooding emergencies. There have been water rescues all across Pennsylvania, with roads and bridges completely washed out in some spots, leaving hundreds stranded. There's also more rain and flooding still on the way. ABC's Kendis Gibson has the latest on the conditions.
This morning, emergencies declared in several states as persistent rain causes severe flooding. In Upper Darby, Pennsylvania, a 10-year-old girl can be heard sobbing as her grandmother sits on the top of her van, surrounded by nearly 5 feet of water. This man jumped into action with his neighbors and police officers. They used a human chain and sheets to pull a woman to safety.
Me and another pedestrian, we just helped the little girls get out of the car. It was one of my neighbors that came out with the sheets.
A few blocks over, a police officer had to be rescued after he got stuck in a sewer.
The sewer inlet must have collapsed, and the swirling water took hold and cut his legs out from under him, and he started to go down into the sewer outlet.
In Brick, New Jersey, 8 inches of rain in less than 4 hours, flooding out sections of the town.
This is crazy.
Inside this man's house, the fridge is toppled over, floorboards are floating, and most of his belongings soaked.
Family pictures, everything's here. My mother, my father, my dog.
In Westchester County, New York, a 50-foot retaining wall collapsed onto a plumbing business. No one was inside. Officials are investigating whether the rain caused the collapse. And in Baltimore, the storms knocked down power lines and flooded streets. Kendis Gibson, ABC News, New York.
For the latest on severe weather, breaking news, plus your up-to-the-minute forecast, check out our app under WWSB or under My Suncoast. Well, it is day 2 of the new school year, and Sarasota's new school district police department is still training new officers. At this point, 12 officers are spread out in elementary schools throughout the county. They're also covering schools in the cities of Northport and Sarasota. We talked to one new officer who is glad to have this new job.
When this job opportunity came up, I thought, what a perfect fit. I'd like to draw my experiences from my law enforcement background and my teaching background.
Meantime, 10 sheriff deputies are covering the schools in the outlying areas. The district gets its remaining officers trained. The goal now, between now and October, is to get all 24 district officers in the schools.
Well, with the first day of school now officially in the books, Sarasota County schools are now shifting the focus to make sure that students are healthy mentally. So they're launching a new program to bring in experts to the schools to help those students who need it most. 16 elementary schools, 6 middle schools, and 3 high schools, in addition to Sarasota High School, will all have experts available that deal with different things ranging from family problems to anxiety to bullying.
It's imperative that we can wrap around supports that are going to help that child have a successful social, emotional journey.
You never know when someone needs the help, and it's nice to know it's accessible to them directly at school, especially if it's something happening at home and they need to talk to somebody.
Now, the majority of the more than $800,000 funding for this program is being covered by the state. Mental health counselors are expected to be in the schools within the next 2 weeks.
With school back in session, some drivers in Manatee County had an expensive reminder about school zones. Police in Bradenton say they pulled over about 20 drivers yesterday alone. 8 were also given warnings for seatbelt violations. Speeding in a school zone can cost you about $175.
Governor Rick Scott has declared a state of emergency for 7 counties affected by red tide, including both Sarasota and Manatee counties. Now, this emergency order means that state funds will be used to combat and clean up red tide. Now, Moat Marine Lab will receive about $100,000 for research, while Visit Florida will get $500,000 to develop an emergency grant program that will help tourism development boards in all the counties affected by red tide. And an extra $900,000 is going to be given to Lee County to help with their cleanup efforts.
Well, this morning the FBI has a new warning about bank ATMs. They report an increase in hacking, according to a report from a cybersecurity blog calling the scheme an ATM cash out. Hackers can get inside a bank or payment card processor and take large amounts of cash with stolen information. Still ahead.
Just hours after being released from jail, a man steals and crashes a plane into his own home. We're going to tell you the bizarre backstory behind it all when we come back. But first,
here's a peek outside our studios right now. It's 6:07 on this Tuesday morning. What's the forecast today, John?
Well, I think we'll develop a westerly wind over the next several hours, encouraging a few coastal showers. Here's the latest red tide status for Moat Marine, indicating some moderate amounts of irritant in the air where these purple flags are located. And then where the red flags are located, in Lido and Nokomis and Gasparilla, that's intense amounts of red tide irritant in the air. Winds will shift a little bit more easterly with time, and that could help the situation down the road. As far as the fire danger index goes, well, still Sarasota and Manatee County in the moderate zone for fire danger. We'll have the complete forecast for you coming up in a few.
My name is Stephen Jaffe. The law firm's name is Farmer Jaffe. One of the beautiful things about Julius is he's always smiling, and it becomes infectious. The fact that Julius has a disability has absolutely nothing to do with the quality of work that he's done. Just a great person you want on your staff.
Hi, this is Dan Marino. When your business recruits people with disabilities, everybody wins. To find out how, go to disabilitieswork.employflorida.com.
Picking out a new ceiling fan? That's a do-it-yourself. Installing your new ceiling fan?
No.
That's a don't do-it-yourself. For ceiling fans, rewires, or anything electrical, play it safe. And call on the trained electricians from your locally owned Mr. Sparky. It's no accident that so many of our customers are repeat customers.
Thank you.
Trust Mr. Sparky for all your electrical repairs.
Call 888-8-SPARKY.
I heard about the Dotoli Cancer Center through friends of mine who had been treated here and were very pleased with the treatment.
If there is prostate cancer, we at the Dotoli Cancer Center will find it using 3D color flow Doppler ultrasound.
And that helped precisely identify where my cancer was. I can tell you that you will not find a finer, more professional team of clinicians anywhere in the world.
If you think it's hot outside, just wait until you see even hotter savings inside. Only at Rugs As Art Hot Summer Savings Sale event will you find the lowest prices on a vast selection of stunning rugs, furniture accents, and accessories. This special event only happens once a year, so hurry in before the best selections are gone. The Hot Summer Savings event ends soon, so don't miss out on the best prices ever. Rugs As Art, Sarasota's only area rug superstore.
The following message is brought to you by Mesobook.com.
People who have been diagnosed with mesothelioma have many questions. How did I get this disease? What are my treatment options? How will this affect my loved ones? You need answers, which is why we offer a free book written by medical professionals who have treated mesothelioma.
Call toll-free at 1-800-777-1366 or go to Mesobook.com.
Planning a Carnival Fantasy Cruise out of Mobile? Then check out the park and cruise packages at the luxurious Battle House and Renaissance Riverview Plaza hotels. Stay at the Battle House for $169 per night or the Riverview Plaza for just $149 per night and leave your car for the duration of your cruise. Includes transportation to and from the cruise terminal. If you're cruising out of Mobile, come stay with us. Call 1-800-MARRIOTT or visit Marriott.com now.
Download the all-new ABC 7 First Alert Weather app now. Now, your ABC 7 First Alert Weather Forecast with meteorologist John Scalzi.
So we're looking at a temperature of 74 degrees, and as we head into the afternoon, our dew point values will probably hold pretty steady at about 72, but they may come up just a little bit because we're going to develop more of a westerly wind as we head into the next several hours. Right now, east-southeast at about 3, pretty light. Our wind's kind of light and variable over the last few hours. We have a light wind flow across the state currently. Kind of a weak pattern currently, developing into a more easterly flow, which could actually be a benefit to those who have red tide issues with the smell of the dead fish and such. That could blow some of that back out into the open waters of the Gulf, perhaps, as we head into Wednesday, particularly Thursday, Friday, Saturday. About a 30% chance of rain as we go through the morning into about 9, 10 o'clock. Then we'll reduce the rain chance as we head into lunchtime to about 20%. Hold it there through the afternoon as the focus for those inland showers shifts into the focus for the coastal showers shifts inland in the afternoon. And then I think the evening will be pretty much rain-free, I think. So we're looking at the radar here, and you're noticing a lot of rainfall up to the north of us. Remember yesterday, that was kind of located a little bit further to the south. And the reason for that is it's kind of centered around a trough of low pressure that's lifting away from us. As it continues to lift away from us, our winds become more variable and light, and we're really not getting a strong onshore flow such as we had yesterday. So we'll be looking at those few showers that we had during the overnight that produced some fairly decent rainfall around areas of Inglewood and Venice. That kind of has now gone away. The atmosphere is somewhat stabilized, and we're not looking at a whole lot of opportunity for showers this morning along the coast. There may be 1 or 2 coming up at us from the south, but the tendency will be for those to kind of weaken as they move into our area. Put the rain chances, I mentioned, at a weak 30%. High pressure in the Gulf, high pressure in the Atlantic. Between the two, this trough of low pressure and a little stalled frontal boundary to the north of us. So our winds are kind of light and variable, sliced between these two highs. Eventually, the high in the Atlantic will win out, And we'll watch this southeasterly wind flow become more intense as we head into, as I mentioned, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. That will, of course, help blow those toxins back out into the Gulf, but it also will change the pattern for our thunderstorm activity. Instead of getting those morning showers near the coast that move inland in the afternoon, we'll get inland showers in the afternoon that tend to move back toward the coast during the evening. So that's a more typical pattern for this time of year, and that's where we'll return as we head into later in the week. West wind again today, but even with that pattern shift, you can get variations, and one of the variations we may see is that dry air moving in reduces the number of storms that develop inland, and so our rain chances go down. Many of you will probably see no rain at all as we head into Friday and maybe Saturday. Warmer by the weekend too without the rainfall. This is the amount of moisture that is available to produce rainfall across the region. Humid air is wetter, redder is wetter. Watch as that drier air starts to filter closer to us. That is what will reduce our rain chances in the upper atmosphere as we head into the weekend. For boaters today, south wind comes in at about 10 knots, 2-foot seas, light chop. Today, a 30% chance. Tomorrow, maybe reduce it to about 20%, kind of a transition day till we get to that easterly wind flow on Thursday. The drier air starts to move in. Rain chances pretty much go away for Friday and Saturday, and then slowly we'll return the moisture as we head into the beginning of next week. Back to you.
All right, thanks so much, John. Let's take a look and check out traffic. Got a couple things to tell you about. First, we're going to start off with those maps. Now, in Manatee County, everything is running pretty good. We do have a crew on the scene on 275 in the southbound lane. There's a tractor trailer that's overturned right there that's in the cleanup stages that we'll tell you about throughout the show this morning. As I mentioned, we do have a crew on site. But other than that, in Manatee County, everything is running pretty good so far at this hour. In Sarasota County, those roads are not looking too bad either. Most of those, even our normal hot spots of University and Fruitville, all looking pretty good at this hour still. A little bit farther south, 75 and 41. If that is part of your morning commute, both of those are running pretty good as well. And a Utah man arrested on allegations of domestic violence flew a plane into his family's home just hours after being released from jail.
How did he get an airplane to fly?
He was a professional pilot.
Let's find out more from Andrew Spencer.
This fireball and the sound of a crashing plane woke the neighbors of a family in Payson, Utah early Monday morning. 47-year-old Dwayne Youd, a professional pilot, had crashed a small plane into his own home. This is his mugshot, taken hours before the crash. He was bailed out of jail not long after midnight. About 2 hours later, surveillance video showed the Cessna 535, owned by the construction company Youd worked for, leaving Spanish Fork Airport. Youd's wife and son were both inside the house when the plane hit it. Neither of them were hurt, but Youd died in the crash.
He was an amazing man and would do absolutely anything for anyone.
Youd's daughter Jocelyn drove up from Arizona after hearing the news.
He's being portrayed as not in a positive light, and it's really hard and upsetting to hear this because he's not this person that's being portrayed.
Payson police confirmed there had been domestic violence disputes at the home in the past. There was another on Sunday. Police say witnesses saw Youd hitting his wife.
They had been drinking. He assaulted her.
All of it a situation his kids are struggling to process.
He was in a lot of pain. He was hurting.
I just think about all the things that I'm gonna miss with him, and I'm just gonna miss having my dad.
I'm Andrew Spencer reporting.
Awful story. Wow.
It is crazy.
Still ahead on Good Morning Suncoast.
National park visitors are still getting a little too close for comfort with nature. Are they brave or just plain crazy?
6:18 right now. New York City has 5 boroughs. The largest is Manhattan. There it is.
And did you know that it is a big anniversary for the city of New York today?
Why?
Because back in 2003, they experienced the biggest power outage in their history. Do you remember that?
I do. We were flying back from Europe that day, of all things. We heard about this.
It started off in Ohio. Some trees went down, and that grid affected all different states, but it hit New York City. They lost power for 30 straight hours. It was the biggest power loss in their city's history.
Yeah, some fog there right now, and 72 degrees in New York. They'll see a high there of 79. Back on the Suncoast, we'll see a high of 90 degrees, and right now you're seeing the Ringling Causeway, Ritz-Carlton to your left, Renaissance Alinari to your right, and you're watching Good Morning Suncoast on ABC 7.
Outdoor living is one of the greatest perks about living in Florida. So whether this is your style or this,
or maybe this. Contact Superior Pools. They've been building pools from Sarasota to Naples since 2001, and they would love to build yours.
Today, everyone is looking for more fashionable choices in flooring than ever before. And G. Fried has responded with a huge selection of carpets, tile, wood, laminate, and vinyl. Installed by a highly skilled team, G. Fried has got everything you're looking for and more. The next time you think about quality flooring, think G. Fried Flooring America. G. Fried Flooring America. Our world is at your feet.
If you don't want to fall immediately into love, look away. If you don't want to awaken a desire for excellence, look away. If you don't want to be seduced, please look away.
Rediscover your passion for driving at Sunset Maserati Alfa Romeo of Sarasota.
The day you lose your strength is the day you lose your independence. Muscle is lost with age, affecting your energy, balance, and mobility. Before you know it, you're depending on others just to get through the day. But you can reverse and prevent muscle loss. Introducing MyoHealth, a revolutionary proven approach to increased muscle strength and function in as little as 30 days. Live life on your terms with more energy and confidence.
After a serious health issue put me down, MyoHealth's getting me back up again.
I'm doing activities that I haven't done for a long time. It really works.
MyoHealth is a safe, natural dietary supplement, the result of decades of research and 24 human clinical studies. You can live stronger at any age with greater strength, mobility, balance, and energy. Call or go online now and take the MyoHealth 30-Day Strength Challenge.
We've all heard how military veterans adjusting to the civilian world may have certain issues.
30. 70.
If only everyone had this issue. No matter what challenge they face, Easter Seals is here for America's veterans.
Outdoor living is one of the greatest perks about living in Florida. So whether this is your style, or this, or maybe this, contact Superior Pools. They've been building pools from Sarasota to Naples since 2001, and they would love to build yours.
We are tracking some breaking news between the Sunshine Skyway and I-75, that strip called I-275. An accident there at exit 2.
That is right. There's a tractor trailer that jackknifed, hit a bridge, and is overturned, as you can see, and lost all kinds of boxes that are also over the median. So they've got a mess there that they are cleaning up right now. Nobody was injured in that, but it is going to take a while for the cleanup. So as daylight breaks a little bit, could start to slow traffic down on both sides as you get the gawkers on one side and routes and cleanup crews trying to get in there on the other side. So just a traffic crew.
It looks like so far we're seeing the cars move by relatively.
Yeah, not too bad so far this morning.
All right, 6:23 right now. Looking ahead, if you want to dispose of old medications in your medicine cabinet, here's your chance. Sarasota Police have an event this Thursday from 5 to 7 p.m. You can drop off old pills in the police lobby near Payne Park. They're especially hoping for opioids, which are so often abused these days in our society. Thursday, 5 to 7 p.m. at the Sarasota Police Department. In health news now, new this morning, a child has been diagnosed with measles in Pinellas County. The child had not been vaccinated. The health department says it's working to identify others who may have been exposed. No word yet how the child contracted the virus. Measles, though, easily spread by air droplets when those who are infected breathe, cough, or sneeze. The first symptoms, high fever, cough, runny nose, followed by a blotchy rash anywhere on the body.
Some sad news for a legendary singer. Here's a hint. R-E-S-P-E-C-T. That's right. The Queen of Soul, Aretha Franklin, is reportedly in hospice care as of this morning. Very ill. The 76-year-old has been in poor health over the last few years, but it's really taken a turn in the last couple of weeks. Now, in 2010, she underwent surgery for pancreatic cancer and only scaled back on concerts and appearances then after doctors told her she had to. Now, this morning, the pastor of the church where she originally got her start is now asking for prayers. Well, it's happened again. A visitor to a national park giving new meaning to the term up close with nature.
ABC's Diane Macedo has our story.
In this morning's GMA First Look, it's a scene right out of a nature film. A group of wild brown bears in Alaska's Katmai National Park fishing for salmon. But then, watch as a man suddenly appears, inching dangerously close to the unsuspecting bears. He reaches into his pocket, pulls out a camera, and starts snapping shots of the bears. He even turns his back to them to take a selfie. Then, still not satisfied, he wades even closer to the bears to take more photos. But while that man was watching the bears, an online audience was watching him on a streaming nature webcam. And those viewers alerted park officials who tracked him down.
Bears are very territorial, and they're focused on their fishing activities, and having people in that area is extremely unsafe.
And coming up at 7 a.m., we'll have more on this incident. With your GMA First Look, I'm Diane Macedo, ABC News, New York.
Are unpredictable Crohn's symptoms following you everywhere? It's time to take back control with Stelara. For adults with moderately to severely active Crohn's disease, Stelara works differently. Studies showed relief and remission with dosing every 8 weeks.
Stelara may lower the ability of your immune system to fight infections and may increase your risk of infections and cancer. Some serious infections require hospitalization. Before treatment, get tested for tuberculosis. Before or during treatment, always tell your doctor if you think you have an infection or have flu-like symptoms or sores, have had cancer, or developed any new skin growths, or if anyone in your house needs or recently had a vaccine. Alert your doctor of new or worsening problems, including headaches, seizures, confusion, and vision problems. These may be signs of a rare, potentially fatal brain condition. Some serious allergic reactions can occur. Do not take Stelara if you are allergic to any of its ingredients.
Are you fed up with Crohn's symptoms following you? Talk to your doctor today and learn how Janssen can help you explore cost support options. Remission can start with Stelara.
Ready to open up new opportunities as an electrician? Don't do it yourself. Team up with Mr. Sparky instead. We're locally owned and looking for people like you. We offer our electricians great perks that you just won't get going it alone. And whether you're an apprentice, a master electrician, or somewhere in between, we have a spot for you.
Best decision I ever made.
Apply online or call today.
You don't have to put up with any malarkey. Call 888-8-SPARKY.
Like no other. So why should your choices be ordinary? Ghibli, the absolute opposite of ordinary.
Experience it at Sunset Maserati, Alfa Romeo of Sarasota.
My California Closets experience has been wonderful. My mother's a huge inspiration. Before she passed away, she would say, you should do something special for yourself. First time I saw my closet, I immediately thought, this is the best thing I've ever done for myself. I call it my Tiffany style closet. I mean, I can shop in my own closet every day. I love that. My name is Cynthia, and this is my California Closets story.
Selfless service is the principle that guides Army National Guard soldiers to be ready whenever disaster strikes. They have a stake in the well-being of the neighborhoods where they live and work. They train part-time to be ready to serve at all times. Selfless service. It's what inspires the men and women of the Army National Guard to be part of something greater than themselves. Visit NationalGuard.com to learn more.
Here we go. We're gonna go out there in the rain. You're gonna get wet. All right, here we go. Okay, quick. Oh yeah, yes. So much fun. Mwah.
A promise was made, a promise that hit the beaches of Normandy, a vow that captured Iwo Jima, a contract that weathered Tet. a pledge that stormed the desert in Iraq, an IOU that braved IEDs in Kandahar. A promise was made to America's veterans. DAV fights to keep that promise, so all veterans and their families get the benefits and support they earned. For help, visit DAV.org.
Get breaking news alerts focused on the Suncoast. Download the ABC 7 News app. You're watching Good Morning Suncoast at 6:30.
Well, as your kids head out to the bus stop, we're going to give you a look at the forecast and whether or not they'll need an umbrella at all this morning.
New details on the local politician who accused the media of fake news and then admitted she was lying about her diploma. What's next for Melissa Howard?
And it is Veterans Appreciation Day at Ed Smith Stadium. We're going to take a look at what the Orioles and the Military Officers Association of Sarasota has planned to honor them. Good Morning Suncoast starts right now. Good morning to you. It is 6:30 on this Tuesday morning. I'm Stephanie Webb.
And I'm Ray Collins. Some breaking news now from the world of traffic to start with. We've got a crew right now live on the scene between the area of 275 and I-75.
That's right. We're going to get to that in a minute. But first, we also have breaking international news. Overnight, several people were injured early this morning after a car crashed into the barriers outside the Parliament building in London.
Police say none of the victims are believed to have life-threatening injuries. One man was detained by officers. Now, Parliament is not in session right now. That's not an issue. We'll track this story throughout the morning here on Good Morning Suncoast.
And right now, let's head over to John Scalzi for a look at your Tuesday forecast.
Well, I'm very happy to tell you that the radar is much quieter this morning than it was yesterday morning. So I think there's a much less chance of having any problems at the bus stops. Now, we did have one area of rain showers that moved through during the wee hours of the morning, about 2 a.m. But other than that, the radar is pretty quiet. We do have some showers down around Fort Myers and around them coming into the mouth of Charlotte Harbor, but I think a lot of that will dissipate before it ever makes it to us. So our rain chance today is pretty low, actually, coming in at about 30%, if that. And the rain chance probably greatest along the coastline during, I'd say between around 9 a.m. and say 11 a.m. And then it starts to taper off pretty quickly as everything moves inland. Heaviest of the storms located to the north and down to the south. We have one pop of lightning down around Fort Myers, but other than that, things are quiet here locally. Temperatures generally in the mid to upper 70s. Cooler inland, a little bit warmer right along the coast. Complete forecast in a sec.
All right, talk to you soon. Thank you, John. I want to show you that issue we just referenced at the top of the half hour. Here is the tractor trailer that is resting now on the side of the road. This is on 275, between 75 and the Sunshine Skyway entrance there. This is northern Manatee County. Happened about 3:30 a.m. A tractor trailer jackknifed, lost its load there on the side of the road. As we now head toward the maps, we're going to see if there's any residual backup. And hard to see if we can tell that, no, not seeing that part of the map right now. Other parts of the area will show you 301 northbound, some congestion there as you approach Whitfield. Otherwise, pretty clear so far in Manatee County. Checking farther south, here's the map in northern half of Sarasota County. Lots of activity there on University in both the east and westbound lanes between Lockwood Ridge and Tuttle, also on 301. Either side of University there. Bee Ridge Road, westbound around Tuttle. And let's go farther south now. Our final map for the south will show an earlier issue on 75 at River Road has since cleared up. Should have a clear sail as you head out the door at 6:33 this morning.
Well, a Lakewood ranch woman making her first run for public office is now making national news for all the wrong reasons. Melissa Howard was accused of actually making a fake diploma to show to her skeptics.
At first she denied it, calling it fake news, but now she admits that she was lying and she's apologizing and going to stay in the race. Election Day is 2 weeks from today. Marla Spence has the story. Marla?
Hey guys, local state house candidate Melissa Howard made it clear that she intends on staying in the race and plans to win even though she was not telling the truth about her education. Now, just yesterday, she issued an apology on her campaign's Facebook page. She wrote, "I made a mistake in saying I completed my degree and what I did was wrong." Now, this all comes after an online report challenged Howard's degree from Miami University in Ohio. Once that report was released, the Republican candidate candidate posted pictures of a framed diploma and transcript on her Facebook campaign page with the words, "The truth shall set you free." According to the university's general counsel, Howard never received a degree. In fact, the council pointed out the degree on her diploma doesn't exist, and the date in 1996 is 2 years after she was enrolled.
When I first heard about this story, I was like, uh-oh, because this spells trouble for the candidate.
We reached out to Howard's campaign, but they declined to comment. We also went out to her gated Lakewood Ranch neighborhood, and guards were under specific instruction to turn media members away. Ray and Stephanie, we will keep you updated with the latest once we find out more information and details into this story. Back to you guys.
Okay, thank you, Marla. Early voting for the primary election starts this week. 18 counties in Florida began casting ballots this morning, not Sarasota or Manatee County. Early voting here starts on Saturday. Early voting can help you save those long lines for the actual primary day, August 28th.
We encourage them to vote. Hey, we open for early voting right now. Y'all come on down, you can see us. And I guarantee you that we'll count your vote for you, and you'll be able to determine that you voted for somebody, whether they win or lose.
Interesting figures from the State Division of Elections. There are more than 600,000 more voters registered this year than in the 2016 election cycle.
Oh, and to Washington now, where the battle between President Trump and Omarosa is getting more aggressive by the hour. ABC's Arlette Saenz has the latest twists in all this back and forth.
The war of words between President Trump and the woman he once called a loyal friend, Omarosa Manigault Newman, is escalating. On MSNBC, the former White House staffer claims she's been contacted by the special counsel, and if they reach out again, she's willing to share her secret recordings.
Anything Mueller would like to see? Mr. Robert Mueller?
If his office calls again,
would you be a good witness in this investigation?
She's already released 2 recordings to NBC News, a conversation she had with Chief of Staff John Kelly as he fired her in the Situation Room, and another she claims is a phone call with the president himself.
Omarosa, what's going on? I just saw in the news that you're thinking about leaving. What happened?
General Kelly came to me and said that you guys wanted me to leave.
No, nobody even told me about it.
The president is lashing out in very personal terms, calling her wacky Omarosa, adding people in the White House hated her. She was vicious but not smart.
Lowlife.
In her new book, Unhinged, she alleges Trump was recorded using the N-word during a taping of The Apprentice. The president is pushing back, tweeting he spoke with the show's creator, who told him there are no tapes where I use such a terrible and disgusting word. I don't have that word in my vocabulary and never have. She made it up.
Omarosa claims several former Trump administration aides have taken money for their silence since leaving their post. Campaign finance records show some former aides have received roughly $15,000 in payments each month from the campaign or party accounts, but those filings don't disclose that the payments are tied to any non-disclosure agreements. Arlette Saenz, ABC News, Washington.
Oh, and all that back and forth. Does it make you want to read more? Well, if so, you are in luck. Omarosa's book is officially on sale today.
For the first time in 3 weeks, the valley portion of Yosemite National Park is open. Park rangers say the crowds are small, but visitors are glad just to get that far after long closures. The Ferguson fire burned into the park as it torched more than 96,000 acres. Firefighters say they now have it 86% contained this morning.
Frontier Airlines are adding a new route at SRQ. The new service is going to have nonstop flights now to Cleveland. The service will begin officially on December 10th with twice weekly flights offered on both Mondays and Fridays.
A follow-up now on the status of the Myakka River Park in Venice. The park is now back open after being closed for a week due to flooding there. The flooding has since receded and the park has been inspected and cleaned and open for safe access now.
Well, the Florida State Seminoles are practicing in Bradenton this week at IMG Academy. The team's going to be working out there through Thursday. Florida State, of course, signed a multi-year agreement to host a portion of its preseason practices at IMG. It's also a bit of a homecoming for FSU head coach Willie Taggart. He, of course, is from Palmetto and graduated from Manatee High School.
Sure, I see my mom. Mom's here in town, and I'll go see her, and I'm sure I see some of my siblings at some point. But it's strictly business.
And happening today, it is Veterans Appreciation Day at Ed Smith Stadium. The Orioles and Military Officers Association of Sarasota will honor our veterans and their families today at the ballpark. Active duty military who attend will receive a special giveaway. Gates open at 11:30 a.m. A chance just for some camaraderie. The Orioles are not in town right now.
Oh, I love that, though. The more we can do to honor veterans, the better. Good thing for them to do.
That's for sure.
Yeah. Still ahead on Good Morning Suncoast.
A GoFundMe account that has surpassed expectations. We'll tell you who it's for. Well, there's a hint right there.
Guess who it is? We'll tell you.
Not John Scalzi. All right, 6:39 right now on this Tuesday morning. Here's a shot outside our studios in the Rosemary District, looking out at a pastel sunrise underway. We're also going to show you now some breaking news on I-275. This is the scene between 75 and the Sunshine Skyway Bridge.
That is right. As you're coming over there on the southbound lane, there is a tractor trailer that hit a bridge and jackknifed. It's laying on its side. The load is all over the median area. It is a mess that they're going to have to clean up. It's not really impacting traffic so far. You can see both lanes are still running pretty smoothly, but we have a team that is on site right now. We'll keep you updated on all the latest.
Roads appear dry right now. No problem with that. How's the forecast, John?
Well, both of those locations show dry conditions, and that is true. 30%, that's it, chance of rainfall for the next couple of hours, followed by a reduction in rain chance through the day. I've gone ahead and checked the rain box, although I could just have easily not, I think. The only chance of rainfall will be just a few coastal showers for the next few hours. Then that dissipates away and we're left with partly cloudy skies. For the school bus forecast, again, don't expect much more than a little bit of cloud cover and the slight possibility of a coastal shower followed by inland storms later in the afternoon. And even that will be few and far between in terms of storm coverage. Complete forecast in a sec.
The Players Center invites you to explore the family dynamic in the classic story of On Golden Pond. The Tony Award-winning play opening August 9th is funny, thoughtful, and brutally honest. Call the Players at 365-2494 or visit us online at theplayers.org. On Golden Pond is calling you.
The day you lose your strength is the day you lose your independence. Muscle is lost with age, affecting your energy, balance, and mobility. Before you know it, you're depending on others just to get through the day. But you can reverse and prevent muscle loss. Introducing MyoHealth, a revolutionary proven approach to increased muscle strength and function in as little as 30 days. Live life on your terms with more energy and confidence.
After a serious health issue put me down, MyoHealth's getting me back up again.
I'm doing activities that I haven't done for a long time. It really works.
MyoHealth is a safe, natural dietary supplement, the result of decades of research and 24 human clinical studies. You can live stronger at any age with greater strength, mobility, balance, and energy. Call or go online now and take the MyoHealth 30-Day Strength Challenge.
Another pair of satisfied emotions. Looks to me like elation and maybe some amazement. It's part of the Honda Summer Spectacular Event experience. You could say satisfaction comes standard here, just like the Honda Accord comes standard with a luxurious, roomy interior. All at the Honda Summer Spectacular Event.
We see it all the time.
Visit your local Honda dealer and test drive the Honda Accord, 2018's North American Car of the Year.
Soldiers in the Army National Guard live up to a set of time-honored principles.
I will always place the mission first.
They stand ready to respond to any crisis.
I will never accept defeat.
They serve in their communities as citizens and as soldiers.
I will never quit.
They train part-time to be ready to serve at all times.
I will never leave a fallen comrade.
Learn more at NationalGuard.com.
All children deserve a shot at success, and it starts with having all of the necessary school supplies. ABC7 is partnering with Gettle SOS Support Our Students to make sure Suncoast kids have everything they need to succeed. Go to Gettle.com for drop-off locations and to see other ways you can help out. Get breaking news alerts focused on the Suncoast. Download the ABC7 News app. Now Now, your ABC 7 First Alert weather forecast with meteorologist John Scalzi.
As you're heading out the door, temperatures are generally represented by a temperature of 74 at the airport. I think most places are pretty close to that, a degree or two above or below. 72, the dew point value as well. As we move through the 9 o'clock hour, we'll have about a weak 30% chance of seeing a shower near the coastline. Following about, I'd say, 10 or 11 o'clock, we'll start to reduce the rain chances. Take them down to about 20%, keep them there through 3 as we focus the showers in inland areas and then reduce them further as we head into the evening. Evening looks like it'll be a fairly nice period of time. We don't have much in the way of rainfall around our area, but certainly the ongoing showers through the Big Bend region back through the Panhandle have been significant this morning. They're getting more and more heavy rain up there. We're not seeing a lot. We had one shower that moved through during the overnight. We've got a few down here around Fort Myers. Tendency will be for these to kind of weaken as they lift northward, but still there's the possibility that in about an hour or so, Rotunda could see a light shower, a brief sprinkle, and that's why I put that small rain chance into the forecast for the coast this morning. Right now, everything's very quiet across the region. We have that one little lone shower that's working its way up toward Punta Gorda, probably going to fall apart before it ever makes it to Punta Gorda. So I think we have a pretty good chance of seeing rain-free bus stops this morning. High pressure out in the Gulf waters, high pressure out in the Atlantic. We'll kind of split between the two, and we have a trough of low pressure in between. That's where those rain showers are most prevalent to the north of us, and also a stalled frontal boundary located in the deep south. Both of those features will eventually lift out, and of the two high pressure regions, the one in the Atlantic is going to win with its flow out of the southeast. That's what we will see become established as we head into the next several days. And that's more typical for this time of year for us here in Florida in the summer. We'll see those storms build inland during the heat of the day and then drift back toward the coastline in the evening. Some of them will produce thunderstorms as well. However, the fly in the ointment of that pattern change is the drier air that'll be moving in later in the week. Could even reduce rainfall chances to next to nothing for a lot of the Suncoast, at least for a day or two. And we'll watch it be warmer consequently because we won't have those cooling rains. The Futurecast shows by the time we get to 9 o'clock, maybe a shower or two along the coastline, but really it's by afternoon when the showers build in inland areas. And even there, they'll be few and far between. And then as we head into the evening hours, everything kind of dissipates away with that general westerly wind flow creating a somewhat aggravating situation, I guess, along the coastline for folks who suffer from red tide. Beach and boating forecast calls for a south wind coming in at about 10 knots through the afternoon and into the evening. We'll have that southeast wind at about 10 knots, 2-foot seas, light chop on bay and inland waters, water temperature at 87. So the extended range forecast, well, first of all, let me show you the tides. We're looking at a tide, low tide coming your way at 9:35 and a high tide at 3:14. Another low tide coming in at 10:40. And the forecast looks like this. We'll have a 30% chance of showers today and tomorrow, a little bit less rain chance. Winds will start to shift tomorrow. As we head into Thursday, we'll look for about a 20% chance of rain. Friday and Saturday, probably not much rain at all. Then as we head into the weekend, we'll look for about a 20% chance of showers at that point. Back to you.
Thanks so much, John. Let's take a look outside and check out that first alert traffic. Now in Manatee, as we've been talking about all morning, we are watching an incident that happened early this morning on southbound 275. There's a tractor trailer that jackknifed there. We've got a live scene from the shot right there. Now as the day breaks, you can actually see it looks far worse than it did this morning as well. There's a tractor trailer that apparently hit a bridge and then jackknifed. It spilled its load all over the median. And as we've been seeing all morning, the traffic there, it's looking like it's flowing fine on both sides, but it could be a little bit busier later.
Yeah, some workers have the tedious job right now of actually transporting the boxes, whatever they are,
right,
to another truck flatbed.
Oh, look, there's my Amazon package.
That's where it's been.
It's going to be late. It's going to be late. Yeah. So we've been watching. We've got a crew on the scene. We've been watching that one for you all morning as well. All right, and back to those maps in there. Everything else on Manatee County looks fine. Sarasota County, those roads are running pretty decent as well. Head a little bit farther south, 75, 41. Both of those roads are looking pretty good so far. At 6:48, that's your first alert traffic.
A fired FBI agent is now getting financial support from everyday Americans for his legal bills. A GoFundMe account has been set up for Peter Strzok, and has since raised $200,000 in the past day. He lost his job after sending negative texts about President Trump while working on the special counsel's investigation. He worked for the Bureau for 22 years.
Well, it was a historic and strange day for West Virginia. The state's House there voted to impeach all 4 of the state's Supreme Court justices. Justice Alan Lowry is facing 7 articles of impeachment, Robin Davis 4, Margaret Workman 3, and Elizabeth Walker 1. Now, this all comes after an investigation into the judges using state money to renovate all their court offices, including buying a $32,000 couch, a $34,000 decorative rug for the offices. Now, a 5th justice, Minas Ketchum, he retired before the vote, but he had already pled guilty to a federal wire fraud count involving the personal use of state-owned vehicles and fuel cards.
Where do they go from here?
It's so bad. It goes to the Senate, but it is a whole level. They were also accused of voting to pay retired judges more than the law allowed. So this has got layers upon layers, but all out.
6:50 right now. We'll update the day's top 7 news headlines before 7 a.m. next.
That is right. That includes a final check of your Tuesday forecast. And in what's trending, professional catfishing hunters. What they do that actually involves no real fish. We're going to tell you about it in just a minute.
Picking out a new ceiling fan? That's a do-it-yourself. Installing your new ceiling fan?
No.
That's a don't do it yourself. For ceiling fans, rewires, or anything electrical, play it safe. And call on the trained electricians from your locally owned Mr. Sparky. It's no accident that so many of our customers are repeat customers. Trust Mr. Sparky for all your electrical repairs.
Call 888-8-SPARKY.
Temperatures are rising and the deals are heating up during the summer clearance event at Sunset Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat in Sarasota. The Ram 1500 has been named a Consumer Guide Best Buy for 6 years in a row. Get an all-new 2019 Ram Quad Cab for as little as $24,999, or save big and get up to $13,000 off a new Ram Bighorn Crew Cab. Better prices, bigger selection. Go to Sunset Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram Fiat in Sarasota.
My California Closets experience has been wonderful. My mother's a huge inspiration. Before she passed away, she would say, you should do something special for yourself. First time I saw my closet, I immediately thought, this is the best thing I've ever done for myself. I call it my Tiffany style closet. I mean, I can shop in my own closet every day. I love that. My name is Cynthia, and this is my California Closets story.
When ABC7 declares a first alert weather day, it means we can expect major changes to weather conditions here along the Suncoast.
It means there could be severe, potentially dangerous weather ahead.
We tell you when a first alert weather day is coming because we want you to be prepared.
A first alert weather day is an advance warning. We'll let you know about any changes in the weather when the first signs appear.
ABC7 First Alert Weather. We're here for you.
All children deserve a shot at success, and it starts with having all of the necessary school supplies. ABC7 is partnering with Gettle SOS Support Our Students to make sure Suncoast kids have everything they need to succeed. Go to Gettle.com for drop-off locations and to see other ways you can help out. Check out mysuncoast.com/dining, your guide to the foodie lifestyle.
Coming up on Good Morning America, the pilot who stole a plane and intentionally crashed it into his home all hours after getting into an argument with his estranged wife. The full story just minutes away. It's just a lot of strange stories today. It is 6:53, and here are the top 7 things you need to know before you head out the door.
Nothing strange here. Here's John Scalzi's first alert forecast.
Yeah, I suppose the good news in the forecast is that we have less rain chance today than we had 24 hours ago, so kids at the bus stop will probably stay dry. West wind pattern, though, will continue. That favors coastal showers in the morning, inland showers in the afternoon, but I think we have less coverage today. Drier air will be moving in, and I think by the end of the week there may be some rain-free days, and so far, calm in the tropics. Back to you.
All right, number 2, checking first alert traffic. First off, we'll show you the map. Here is Manatee County. Some small delays there on 301 northbound as you head towards State Road 70. But the big story right now is just north of that map. This is a live shot of where a tractor trailer overturned about 3:30 a.m. on I-275. Our crew's been on the scene all morning. You're seeing some workers having to do the tedious work of moving boxes from the tractor trailer that had jackknifed to another truck there. Doesn't appear traffic is much of an issue right now. This is going on between the Sunshine Skyway and I-75 in northern Manatee County.
And number 3, like we mentioned, we had the crew on the scene right there, and we'll have more throughout the morning. Number 4, a Lakewood ranch woman running for state office now admits she faked her diploma and is apologizing.
Melissa Howard at one point called her critics part of fake news. The story is making national news, so now it's on to her primary 2 weeks from today against her Republican rival, Tom Gregory.
Number 5, the Tampa Bay Bucks are honoring local military veterans today by hosting a boot camp there. It's kind of cool. It begins at 1 o'clock right after the Bucks finish up their practice.
And this sounds familiar. It's also Veterans Appreciation Day at Ed Smith Stadium. The Orioles front office staff and military officials will honor our veterans and their families today at the ballpark. Just some camaraderie. Gates open at 11:30 a.m. this morning.
And number 7, what's trending? Well, professional catfish hunters. Not talking about the fish with the whiskers. I'm talking about a new company called Vet Your Date. They stalk your new love interest on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram for you so you can be sure they're who they say they are. I don't know why I didn't think about this.
I think you do that enough already, don't you?
I do that enough already, but you don't have to do that anymore. You can hire somebody else. Like if you've got some questions like, I don't know if Ray Collins is really this guy, somebody else will look at all your social media stuff and be like, okay, yeah, he's good.
That right there is a first world problem.
Right? It is a first world problem.
What a job to have.
Well said, John Scalzi.
Have a great Tuesday. We'll see you tomorrow on Good Morning Suncoast.